Dragons Rising has introduced so many new characters to the world of Ninjago, ranging from terrible to amazing, and in this video, I'm gonna rank them all. This list is strictly speaking only characters who are new for Ninjago Dragons Rising. But firstly, if you're new to the channel or you've watched a couple of my videos before, please make sure to subscribe. It would do a ton to help support me and the channel. Anyway, on with the video. Alright, so here we have the tier list with tiers ranging from S tier to Who tier. This Who tier is basically just for characters who I don't really know enough about to make an accurate ranking, and a perfect example is actually our first person here. I think this is just some random agent from the administration. I literally don't know anything about her, including her name, so I'm just gonna put her in Who tier. Though next up we have Frack, and Frack is definitely higher up on this list. A or B tier, I'm not sure. I'll just leave him in A for now, though I might move him down to B later. I think he's a pretty enjoyable character to watch on screen. He's also a good addition to the ninja team. His crush on Sora is at times a bit weird, but it doesn't really take away too much, and if anything, I just find it kind of funny at times. I think that his arc in season 2, where he rejects Roz's teachings and how he slowly moves from being Lord Roz's student to a ninja, I think that was really fascinating. I also like the scene personally where he just throws away the wolf mask. I think that's very indicative of his character, and it really shows a lot about who he is, and I like him as a character. I think he's pretty fun to see on screen, so A tier is a pretty good spot for him. Next up we have these Imperium guards. I don't know anything about them. I'm gonna put them in Who tier. I don't think they got any specific development. They might have had a couple of lines though. Next up, we have the Matriarch Dragon. The Matriarch Dragon, in terms of character development, obviously she didn't get much, but the whole point of her character is that she's a wise and powerful sort of dragon. And in the short time we had with her, I think she did do pretty good in that aspect. So I'll put her in C tier. I think she was a decent character on screen. Next up, we have Mr. Frohickey. Mr. Frohickey is probably going in B tier. We see him a lot nowadays, and I think the most appealing part about his character is how he's just kind of like a normal person. Of course, in Ninjago, you have a lot of basically superheroes with elemental powers. You have spirits, you have source dragons, but now Mr. Frohickey is just a regular dude who's really good at organizing, and now he's the assistant keeper of a monastery of a bunch of heroes who have saved the world countless times. I think that's really interesting. We see his internal conflict as he deals with the fact that his colleagues are basically saving the world and he doesn't feel good enough, and I think that's what makes him so appealing to me personally. Next up we have Lord Roz. Oh wait, no, that's not Lord Roz. No, I think that's that guy from the Forbidden 5 flashback scene. I think Zarkar was his name. Yeah, again, don't know much about him. I'll put him in Who tier. Though someone who I do know a lot about is Ericor, and Ericor is personally my favorite character that we've talked about so far. I love him so much. He is such an excellent addition to the story of Dragons Rising. As a character, I think he's fantastic. He's really likable. He's not annoying. I love his character arc in Dragons Rising Season 1, where he's just kind of this depressed dude after his realm gets destroyed, and then slowly he learns to be more and more hopeful. It kind of parallels Sora's arc, which I think is definitely a good thing, but yeah, I think in terms of character, he's really solid. Also, the fact that we are seeing a Jin in Ninjago is pretty cool. It ties back to Season 6, and now we get to know more of what a regular Jin was like, because before we only knew what Nadakon was like, and he was a big Jin prince or something. So that extra bit of world building, was I think pretty good, and it added a lot to the Dragons Rising story. So yeah, I'll put him at the top of A tier. He's a really good character, I think. Another really good character too, in my opinion, is Bonds, although I think I'll probably leave her in B tier. I think the most appealing part about her is how she was she's a spirit. She's not even a regular person. The themes of loneliness, how she didn't feel like she fit in. It's similar to Frohickey, but in a different way, where she's just kind of she really doesn't belong, but in the end, she manages to find family with Cole and the other guys in the Land of the Lost Things. I think that's a really sweet story. She would probably be in A tier, but we don't really see a whole lot of her after that, so I think I'll probably have to leave her in B tier for now. Next up, we have another one of the Finders, I believe they're called. Yeah, I don't really know much about him. They don't really give him too much character. I'm tempted to put him in who tier, but we've seen him so many times that I can't really put him in who tier. We know who he is. It's just that he doesn't have a character. So I'm gonna put him in D tier. Is that a bit harsh? Like maybe, but like we've seen him so many times and still we don't really know who he is or anything. I mean, we know he's probably a formling, but yeah, I mean, the amount of times we've seen him, he probably should have gotten at least a decent story. So that's why I'm putting him in D tier. Next up, we have. Yo, who is this guy supposed to be? What? I'm gonna put him in who tier for now, but I'll. What? Alright, guys, so this is me in editing. After doing some research, apparently this is like one of the influencer dudes from the beginning of the mech pilot shorts. His name is Spinjitzu for Days 99. I mean, cool, I guess. Doesn't really impact my ranking of him at all. So, back to the video. Moving on, we have Roby. Roby is either a high C tier or a low B tier. I'll put him high C tier for now. I think that he's an interesting character. Of course, like, again, in terms of character development, he doesn't have too much. But, like, in terms of his relationship with Wildfire, I think that's pretty cute. I liked at the end of Dragon's Rising. Like, he does have a personality. He's not like a bland character like this guy down here, whose name I forgot. Is it Fritz or Spitz? I don't know. Anyway, back to Roby. He's not a bland character. I like his relationship with Wildfire. I like how, despite him being basically like an influencer who just wants to get as many views with his Tournament of the Sources, he does kind of have an adherence to, like, I don't know, honor and stuff. He gives back to the elements after the Tournament of the Sources. He doesn't allow cheating and stuff. Like, he's not like a bad character. It's just that, again, he's kind of a side character. I think that he is a decent addition, but I don't think he warrants B tier. He doesn't have like a super interesting story like these two guys up here. Moving on, we have Rontu, and Rontu is also going straight in A tier. I'll put her ahead of Frack. I think that she's just a really nice character. I like her relationship with Eagle. I like how she's kind of kind and understanding. I also like her new scenes in Dragon's Rising Season 3 Part 2 when she comes back to the monastery after the death of Eagle. I think her helping to train Ryu and the other ninja in Spinjitzu is a pretty cool plot point that seems like it's going somewhere. Also, like, in terms of her concept, the fact that she is a super powerful dragon who learned Spinjitzu and she defeated the Forbidden Five, that's pretty cool, though. I guess with Dragon's Rising Season 3, it's not too hard to defeat the Forbidden Five. But I digress. Maybe they were actually powerful once upon a time. But yeah, Rontu, she's a powerful dragon. She's pretty chill as a character. I really like her. I like her dynamic with her students. And overall, just a really solid addition to Dragon's Rising. I really like seeing her on screen. Next up, we have this guy. I believe he's the king of the Craglings. Or at least one of them. This guy's either going in like D tier with Fritz/Spitz here, or he's going in who tier. The question is, where does he go? I'm not actually sure. You know what? We only had like one episode with him. I'll put him in who tier. Yeah, we don't really know too much about him. Next up, we have. Is this the Master of Plants? I forgot his name. No, this is just some random guy. Is that the chef from season? No. Who? Yeah, he's going in who tier. I have no idea who he is. Wait, hold up. Is that a Zane mask? Is this one of the competitors at the Zane imitation competition in Dragon's Rising Season 1 Part 2? Wait, is that what he is? Okay, anyway, yeah, an interesting fellow who I don't know anything about. Next up, we have this random Imperium citizen here. Oh wait, no, is that Sora's dad? Oh yeah, that is Sora's dad. Whoops, okay, well I guess he's not that random. In terms of like Sora's dad's character, I can't really put him in who tier. We know a lot about him and his motivations. Also Sora's mom, who we'll probably see later. But yeah, in terms of his own character, I don't think he's like amazing. Like, he's just a pretty generic, like, unsupportive parent, but the way he influences Sora's arc and the impact he has on Sora, I think is really, really good. And I think probably just for that, I'll put him in C tier. He's a really interesting character in terms of Dragon's Rising, in the way that he has an effect on Sora. I think that warrants him at least a C tier. I think he's a fairly important character to the story of Dragon's Rising. Next up, we have Cinder. He's not a bad character, so I think I'll put him top of C tier. My main problem with him is that we just don't know anything about him, man. Like, come on. He was, like, a pretty prominent secondary villain for, like, a whole season, and we don't know anything about him. That's just kind of lame to me. In terms of his personality and his actual character, he doesn't get much of a character arc, but I think the type of villain he is, he's just kind of meant to be a threat to the ninja. He's not a super deep or complex villain or even a super deep or complex character. He's just kind of like a jerk who works for Roz and who just wants more power. And I think that is kind of appealing in a way. But, I mean, again, just please tell us more. We need to see this guy again. Like, come on. Doc Wyatt, do something. Next up, down here, we have the Spirit of the Temple. This guy's hard, man. Like, I can't put him in who tier because we know quite a bit about him. He's been in, like, at least 2 episodes, I think. Like, in this guy, again, he's not a super big, like, personality type character. He's not gonna have a super deep story. He's basically just a plot device who serves as an ancient being that knows a lot about ancient stuff. So in that regard, he does his job quite well. He's similar to the matriarch. I'll put him at the end. I think Sora's dad was a fairly influential person, and he probably deserves to go ahead of the Spirit. You know what? I'll actually put him ahead of the matriarch too. I think the role he had in Sora's arc probably warrants him to be there. At least for now. I might change my mind on that later. Moving on, we have Drix, and oh my god, Drix was actually so cool in Season 3 Part 1. Like, if this was just Season 3 Part 1, he would actually be A tier. He's such a, like, again, he's just a villain who's there to kick the ninja's butt, and he does that really well, I might add. He's also, like, super sinister looking. His voice is absolutely perfect. I don't know who his voice actor is, but they did an amazing job, that's all I can say. But, like, in Dragon's Rising Season 3 Part 2, he just becomes, like, another ghostly henchman. And, yeah, he was a henchman for Thunderfang all along. But in Part 1, he was awesome. He kicked butt. He kicked major ninja butt. But, like, in Part 2, he just kind of does nothing. And that brings his character down for me. So, top of B tier? No, I'll put him at the bottom of B tier. I'll put him here for now. Now we have the actual Master of Plants, I believe. Yeah, this is like the leader of the Mucoid Warriors. I literally forgot his name, but I'm not putting him in who tier because I remember who he is. So that's a plus. Yeah, he's going at the end of C tier. Like, they do enough with him. He's not like this guy down here who we just see a lot but we don't know anything about. No, we know a bit about him. He's an interesting character, but ultimately he's just a side character who we're not really supposed to care about too much. He's just another guy in the show. So down here we have all 6 Source Dragons, and these guys, like, are actually pretty interesting in my opinion. I know, like, some people might think they're, like, pretty boring characters because they're just kind of like all-powerful beings, but I think the way they handle their power is super interesting. You have, like, people like Motion, you have dragons like Motion that want to use their power to help people, and then you have Strength that's just kind of like a big lazy dude who doesn't want to do anything, doesn't want to interfere at all in the mortal world. He, Focus, and I believe Life was the other one. These 3 are the ones that withdrew from the council at the end of Season 3 Part 2, so, yeah, I think that's an interesting thing to do with Source Dragons. Instead of just having them be these benevolent gods, you actually have them be, like, people who are at times pretty selfish and don't see the bigger picture. I think Motion is probably the best Source Dragon. She's probably top of C tier, B tier. No, I think just the concept of the Source Dragons just being these super big, powerful entities is so cool, and I think that probably means that she should be in B tier. So is Energy. I think Energy's arc, actually probably Energy's arc in season 1, or maybe not his arc, but his character where he's just kind of, again, a depressed guy that doesn't even want to be free. I think that's really interesting to see, like, to analyze the effects of what power can do to people, like extreme power. The rest of the Source Dragons, I think, go to the top of C tier. I'm not putting them in any order. Actually, I'll probably put Strength at the top, because Strength is, like, the most vehemently against any human interaction, and I think that is an interesting way to go for a Source Dragon. So I think I think he's probably my third favorite after these guys over here. I'm quite fascinated with what they've done to his character. So, I mean, I'm very interested to see what he does in the future, to put it plainly. Alright, moving on though, here we have Zur, I believe, the Devonian. He was, I think, okay, I can't put him in who tier. I don't think he's quite a D tier character. I think he had some good scenes with Wildfire when they translate Blecht's book together or something like that. So, I mean, he's probably C tier, probably below the plants guy, because I mean he had a scene in season 1 and we know a bit more about him. But I mean, Zur, with what they had, I think they did a pretty good job with him. His element is pretty cool. I like how he defeated Zane. I like him quite a bit. Moving on though, we have this lightning guy, this lightning judge. Oh my god, that is the funniest, like, wig hair thing I have ever seen. That is hilarious. I think, yeah, I'm probably gonna put him in who tier. I just don't know enough about him. Next up, we have the Howlers. Again, they're not really characters, though we do know a bit about them. Yeah, this is difficult. I don't know. Should I put him, like, okay, because I think they did do a decent job with the lore. So they're either C tier or who tier. You know what? Screw it. I'm just gonna put them at the bottom of C tier, because I think the lore with them being like Jinjagan spirits who hunt down people that improperly use wish magic is pretty cool. Next up, we have this oh my god, I forgot everyone's names, but this guy is basically the lead writer, head writer. I don't know what his official title is, but he's the main guy in charge at the Cloud Kingdom. So, he's actually kind of an interesting character, honestly. He's not B tier, he's not that interesting, but, like, he's definitely somewhere in C tier. I like him more than Plant Guy, and also probably the Matriarch. Yeah, I'll put him there. I think, him and Euphrasia have an interesting dynamic, especially because he starts off as, like, very anti-action. He just wants to sit and write about stuff happening. But then Euphrasia shows him, like, no, bro, you can't do that. And then he kind of changes his mind. That's pretty cool. I mean, he's just another regular side character. He added a bit to the story. He's also another fine addition to the collection of Dragon's Rising characters. Moving on down here, we have Arin's dad. Arin's dad is, he's not who tier. We know quite a bit about him. He's not D tier because with the time that they had, they did do quite a bit of good things with him. So the question is, where does he go in C tier? Do I like him more than the Matriarch? Probably. Do I like him more than Sora's dad? Like, as a character, I think Sora's dad was a lot more influential, at least to the other character stories, particularly Sora, but yeah, he's probably below that. I mean, he has a lot more screen time than any of these guys down here, and his relationship with Arin is cool, I guess, but I don't think he gets that much, like, insane development or anything super deep or awesome, so I think I'll put him, like, here around the middle of C tier. Next up, we have these two administration agents who are going in who tier, because I don't know who they are. And then we have Gandalaria. Gandalaria, okay. I think honestly Gandaloria's going in D tier. I just don't like her character at all. Like, okay, I get a powerful sorceress is kind of a cool concept, but she's just kind of annoying. And maybe it's her fault, but the episode that she kind of appears in first in Dragon's Rising Season 2 is just, it seems like kind of a waste, in my opinion. Maybe my first impression of her from Dragon's Rising Season 2 has tainted my view of her. But I think overall she's just a pretty annoying character, so I'm not gonna I don't think she deserves to go in C tier. Then we have this chef guy, he's also going in Who tier, I don't know who he is. Then we have these two guys, they are also administration agents. Oh wait, no, are these the two guys that we see all the time? Was this a girl? I'm pretty sure she's a girl. But are these are the two agents that we just see all the time. So I'll probably put them in D tier. Again, like if you're gonna show them that many times, like you might as well give them a story. But like they're not meant to be super important, I get that, but that doesn't make them particularly great characters, though they do serve their role well enough, I guess. Oh, another administration agent. She's also going in Who tier. I think she briefly appeared in season 3 part 2, did like a dance, and then just we never saw her again. So Who tier is probably fitting for her. We have these Bone Warriors, they're also going in Who tier. They made a quick cameo, don't really care about them. Then we have Kerr, okay. So Kerr is interesting. Kerr is like, I don't know where to put Kerr. She's not as awesome as Drix. She doesn't have the awesome scene or just the aura that Drix has. But she's also pretty cool. Like, in her own way, she's really creepy. Like, her power is genuinely so unsettling. I think she's below the Source Dragons because the Source Dragons actually all have a character. She's probably below Cinder because he was, I think, in my opinion, a better villain. He did a lot of stuff. He posed a better threat to the ninja. But Kura was genuinely horrifying at times, so I'll put her ahead of Roby. But again, all the Forbidden Five are just so much missed potential, man. Like, that's crazy. We have Dr. LaRoe. Dr. LaRoe, in my opinion, is a really interesting character. I like her quite a bit. I don't know if warrants C tier, B tier. Should I keep her in C? Yeah, I'll probably keep her in C. I think I liked her more than Cinder. I think personally she was just a really interesting and heartless character who just did not care about anything except for her science and stuff, and she was just seemingly oblivious to all of the horrific things that the Empress was doing with her inventions. And I mean, yeah, it was she certainly I think added to the story. She's kind of meant to contrast Sora, where Sora kind of like she doesn't want to go along with the Empress. She wants to make sure that her inventions are used in the right way, but Dr. LaRoe just does not care. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I'll probably put her ahead of Roby, but behind these two guys, just because I think they're pretty cool villains. So yeah, around middle of C tier. Next up, we have this. Who is this? Like, is this just another dude? Like another Imperium bucket head? I think so. Does he have like a special name? Did he actually do something? I don't think so. So I'm putting him in Who tier. So next up we have Jordana, another Imperium citizen. So Jordana is actually kind of an interesting villain. I like her. Not as much as Cinder. Actually, maybe yeah, she's about Cinder. Cinder and Jordana are pretty even. I like her story quite a bit. She grew up overshadowed by Sora, and she just kind of wants to make a name for herself, and in the process does quite a few stupid things. Allies herself with people who do not have her best interests in mind, and at the end of season 2, she kind of figures that out when her head gets possessed by rocks. So, yeah, that I think she's overall a solid character. I would like to see her one day, but her arc was wrapped well enough. She tried so hard to be outstanding, and then she gets possessed by rocks, and in the end, she just kind of like I don't remember if she exactly makes up with Sora, but they come to some sort of deal-ish thing. So I think that she's definitely a good character. I like her as a villain. Someone who I do not like as a villain, though, is Rapton, and Rapton is going straight into D tier. We're in D. I'll put him at the bottom of D tier. I tolerated him in season 1. And then he just like annoyed me every time after that. Especially in season 3, episode 19, man. Talk about a character not belonging in an episode. Like, that is literally Rapton in this episode. He had no business being there, but he just kind of shows up. And maybe that's a fault of that episode of its own, but like, man, Rapton is he's just kind of an annoying character. He's really dumb, and maybe that is his character, but if you're just dumb repeatedly, then it becomes annoying. In Dragon's Rising season 1, he wasn't the sharpest tool in the box, but at least he felt like some sort of a threat to the ninja. But like afterwards in season 3 part 2 especially, he just becomes kind of like a joke, and I get tired of seeing him, honestly. I hate that guy so much. Moving on, we have is this Beatrix or is this Beatrix? Who is this? Well, I see another one here. So this sister looks to be in front of the Imperium throne. So I'm going to guess that this is Beatrix, which means that this would be Beatrix. Beatrix is, again, an interesting person. She's in season 2 part 2, she's just kind of consumed by vengeance because everything was taken from her. She had elemental power. She should have been queen, but no, she was just imprisoned and her father was killed and she lost everything. So I can see how that would make her sort of unhinged. In terms of like actual character development, like she doesn't get a whole lot, but in terms of her character by itself, yeah, she's an interesting character. I don't know where I'll put her actually. I'll put her behind Arin's dad. I think she gets a decent bit of screen time, so we sort of get to know her. But she's also not, like, by any means an insanely amazing character. Moving down here, we have Rox, and Rox is actually interesting because Rox, like, she comes off as the smart decision plan maker, but again, in season 3 part 2, we just kind of butchered all the Forbidden Fives characters. I didn't mention it too much with Kerr, but like, yeah, she goes from like the leader of the Forbidden Five to just another Thunderfang henchman, and that brings her character down for me a lot. I still think that she's very good in certain scenes, especially in Dragon's Rising season 2 part 2. I think she's very good in those scenes, especially when she's possessing Jordana. But in season 3, like, she has some good scenes, she has some good fights, she appears intimidating, so I think she's below Kerr, because Kerr is just objectively a lot more horrific. But I think that Rox is also a pretty decent Forbidden Five, though the way she was hyped up, man, she definitely should have been A or B tier. But that is another discussion. Next up, moving on, we have Ryu. Ryu is at the top of B tier. Ryu has one purpose, and that is to be adorable and cute, and he fulfills that purpose amazingly. He is like, he's just such a fun guy. Like, I love him so much. I can't wait to see what he does in the future. There is a hint that he might have something to do with the Source Dragons. Maybe he'll become the new Source Dragon of Balance. Who's to say? But yeah, he's certainly an interesting dragon. He's really, really adorable. I love him so much. B tier for sure. Arin, oh my god, okay. We got a banger here. Arin is going straight into S tier. The main character of Dragon's Rising, and bro is just incredible. I love his character arc so much. He starts off basically as a self-insert for any Ninjago fan who just loves the ninja so much. He has no elemental power. He self-taught himself spinjitzu, presumably by just spinning around a lot, which I think is hilarious. Also, I mean, the things they did with this character, man, it's just so unique, it's so bold, it's so creative. Having a ninja who slowly, like, starts questioning his own self-worth until he's tempted by the dark side, Lord Ross. And then he comes back to the light after choosing a new family and potentially sacrificing his old family because he didn't know they were alive. For all that he knew, he was basically just giving up any chance of ever seeing his parents again. I think that was a really powerful moment in Dragon's Rising Season 3 Part 2. I also love his gradual descent all throughout Season 2, where at the end he gets tempted and finally joins Lord Roz because he's the one who gives him power. But I mean, yeah, like the things they did with his character, I don't think we've ever seen that for another Ninjago character. And Arin's story, I think, is probably one of the most well thought out stories in all of Dragon's Rising. And it makes sense, he's the main character, but I just love his character so much. He's amazing. I could talk about him all day, but I'll leave it there for now. Who I do not love, though, is Zarkt. Zarkt is going straight into D tier. You know what? He had one good fight at the end of Season 3 Part 2, so that motivates, that pushes him to the top of D tier. But, like, I mean, man, it's his first appearance in Season 3 Part 1 where he just gets beaten by everyone as just a certified useless person, doesn't even get a prismatic blade, gets basically stomped on by rocks. Like, it just ruined his character so much. And for someone who was supposed to be cool, like when I saw his design, I thought this guy was going to be insane. Also, hearing his power Misfortune, that has a lot of potential in the future, but no, he's just kind of like, he does nothing. That's his whole character. He does nothing. He has one good fight, but that's about it. So D tier. All right, the next character we have is oh my god. Well, we're just going from great to terrible to great again. Lord Roz belongs in, actually, you know what? Lord Roz can only belong in Lord Roz tier because Lord Roz is an insane character. Everything about him is just so good, in my opinion. He adds so much to the story of Dragon's Rising. In fact, Dragon's Rising without him literally wouldn't exist. He's so threatening and menacing at times. His ideology is so fascinating. The lessons he imparts to Arin. He's actually a really good fighter. I love seeing him fight on screen, especially that last scene from Dragon's Rising Season 3 where he just kicks everyone's butt at the monastery. Granted, the ninja weren't there, but like, still, that is crazy, man. Lord Roz, like, whenever Lord Roz comes into the show, I just immediately get locked back on, no matter what's going on, because he's just such a cool villain, man. His personality is amazing. Like, I can't wait to see what his plan is all about, because whatever it is, it has to be amazing, given Lord Roz. His track record is amazing, and I would be overjoyed if Season 4 focused on Lord Roz more. Like, nothing more I can say. He deserves his own tier, wholeheartedly. He deserves his own tier. He's just that good. Next up, here we have Tyr, the General of the Dragonians. He's going in Who tier, not F tier. He's going in Who tier. They just didn't have time to introduce him, so I don't really have many thoughts on him. But down here, yeah, we have another bone guy. Also going in Who tier. We didn't get much time with him. Next up, though, we have a villain who we did get quite a bit of time with. We have Blecht. Blecht is Blecht is actually kind of an interesting dude. I'm not even gonna lie. He's really he's one of those like old heads who just doesn't want to move on. And so when Roby becomes the tournament master, the games master for the Tournament of the Sources, he literally conspires to have a crazy villain, Lord Roz, win the tournament just so he can get rid of Roby. I mean, like, man, that is dedication. Like, you gotta respect that. Gotta respect the grind. Anyway, he's just really blinded by his love for the old times. He doesn't want to move on at all. And, I mean, that's an interesting way to write a character. He comes back in Season 3. He has a minor role, but, I mean, he's there. His character in and of itself, like, it isn't bad. I think he served as an interesting villain. So I'll put him ahead or behind Roby. Probably ahead of Roby. I think he was a fairly good villain, so I'll put him there. Next up, we have Lobo. Lobo. He's going in D tier. Yeah, this guy's going in D tier. I literally do not care about this guy one bit. In fact, I'm quite glad that he doesn't show up that much. Every moment with Labo, I physically cringe. Like, okay, a little bit is fine, but like, okay, maybe bottom of D tier is harsh. I'll put him the tier. I still hate Rapton a lot more, but Labo is D tier. Moving on. Oh my god, Dorama, straight to F tier. I hate this guy so much. So much. Rapton, at least like at a point he was decent. Dorama was just always annoying. I tolerated him in season 1 because like at least his character served as a goofy way to grow the new ninja and grow their relationship with Lloyd. But like every moment he shows up is pain. He takes away from whatever scene he's in pretty much. He's just a boring and dull character, and he's F tier. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, maybe I should move Rapton to F tier too. No, I'll keep him in D tier. I think he was okay until season 3 part 2. Next up we have Gio. Gio is actually he's also another C tier character. Maybe B tier. No, I don't think they've done enough for me to warrant putting him in B tier. So probably stick him in C tier. I think ahead of Dr. Leroux is a pretty good spot. I love his relationship with Cole and the other finders. I think that's really interesting. He's like a big family guy who wants to protect everyone. He tries when Lord Roz attacks, but he just gets knocked down, unfortunately. His power, I think, is super interesting. It's very interesting the way he uses his power. That's certainly cool in my opinion. Overall, I think as a character, he's just really sweet. He's a good addition to Dragon's Rising. He's a nice character to watch on screen, in my opinion. Next up, we have this Lightning Tide dude. He's going in Who tier. We had like one scene with him. Next up, down here, we have Beatrix. Beatrix is... I actually really like Beatrix. I'm not even gonna lie. She's a simple villain, but we get to know quite a bit about her. So I think that's why I'll put her in B tier. She has a really simple motive, but the way she just consistently gets more and more unhinged, I think is just really fascinating. She's a dictator pretty much. She's a fascist dictator who has total control of her people, and she just slowly gets more and more unhinged. She blatantly uses her citizens, manipulates them, and I think those types of villains, you don't need every villain to be a super deep and complex guy like potentially Lord Roz, but I think having Beatrix, who's just pretty much like some sort of a representation of a fascist dictator who just slowly loses it and gets defeated in the end, I think that's certainly a good way to have a story, and her character was represented well enough. So B tier is good spot for her. I think she was very entertaining. Next up, we have Wildfire, and okay, I have a mixed relationship with Wildfire. I think Wildfire has some good moments, but there's some moments where she's just kind of like, why is she on the team? She can be just so immature and annoying, and at the same time so mature and grown up. I think the best thing that she did from my memory is like after Kai gets trapped in Nether Space and she kind of has to take on the responsibility of the red ninja, the fire-ish ninja, and her grappling with the responsibility, especially in the Wildfire shorts. The shorts weren't great, but I think that concept was good. But in season 3, she just kind of goes back to the same old. Her relationship with Roby is cute, and she's probably ahead of Roby. In fact, she is a member of the ninja team. But I don't think, does she belong in B tier? I'll put her in B tier because she genuinely does have some good scenes. She's very entertaining. She is funny at times. It's just, I wish they would cut down on the times where they make her just really irritating and kind of unwatchable. But other than that, she is a fairly decent character. I really hope they elaborate on her character a lot more in season 4. Moving on, we have these droids. These droids are going into Who tier. I do not care about them, and they probably have no personality, honestly. And then here we have Sora's mom. She's basically the same as Sora's dad, where in terms of character, she's not like an amazing character in and of herself, but the way she impacts Sora, I think, kind of makes up for it a little bit. So that's why she's in C tier. Next up, we have Fidulian. Fidulian is, I don't want to put him in D tier because he's just kind of like the sketchy salesman snake dude. He has a distinct character and he lives up to it, so I'll put him at the bottom of C tier. Again, we don't know too much about him, but we've seen him quite a bit, so I think probably C tier. I don't want to put him in D tier. I mean in Who tier. So yeah, bottom of C tier it is. Some more bots. These are also going in Who tier. I don't know why I decided to include these guys actually. They have like no personality. They only show up like once. Okay, though, Lee. Lee, I think, is a fascinating character. I think he's really interesting, and he was really well done, actually. A tier? Yeah, I think A tier probably for Lee is good. Apart from his musical number, which actually I kind of enjoyed, but it dragged on maybe a bit too long. But apart from his musical number, he's a really solid character. He manipulates and he lies, but that's all just because he's scared that no one will love him if they find out who he really is. And that's a story that's been done a lot, but I think it's done in a really interesting way here with Lee, where he's not like alone, but he only has himself for company. So in a way he is alone, but he's not really alone, and he just clings on desperately to the people who come aboard because he doesn't want to lose them, like that one guy who came and then just left. So I think that in that way he's an interesting character. He's certainly, I hate to say this, but he's certainly a better villain than the Forbidden Five, I think, because he was actually written well. He actually seems scary at times, the way he manipulates and the way he seems to have power over everything. I genuinely was more scared of him than the Forbidden Five in Season 3 Part 2, and that is not a good sign for the Forbidden Five. Next up, we have Thunderfang. Thunderfang I have a lot of problems with, but almost none of those problems are with his character. Almost all of my problems with Thunderfang are the fact that he just gets defeated way too easily, man, and he shouldn't have been rushed. His character, it just came too rapidly. I think they needed more time to build him up and let the Forbidden Five shine, but none of that is an actual complaint against his character, because his character is actually pretty incredible. I'm not gonna lie. He was really threatening on screen, though, again, I didn't like the way he was defeated, but he was pretty threatening on screen. He has a really sinister sounding voice. The way he talks down to the Forbidden Five, again, it's terrible for their character, and I actually dissect it a lot in a past video I did, but in terms of like his character growth, like it's pretty incredible. It establishes him as a real threat, and I think that is a good thing. He's a pretty good villain. I'm not sure A tier because there are quite a few problems with him, though I like him more than Drix, and I like him more than the other Source Dragons because he has a pretty interesting story about getting rejected. He had some cool lore there, but yeah, I mean, wish he could have been better or at least built up a bit more. Then he would have maybe even been S tier because his concept is genuinely so cool. So I'll stick him in B tier for now. Down here we have wait, who is this guy? I don't know who he is. He's going in Who tier. Another fine addition to the Who tier is our next character slash bot. This is, I believe, the Caretaker bot from Dragon's Rising season. Wildfire's Caretaker bot. Again, I don't know why I decided to include these guys. They have no personality. They show up for a very brief time. Yeah. Though a character who did not show up for a brief time whatsoever is our next character, Noct. And Noct is, honestly, he's probably A tier. He's one of, like, okay, Drix did definitely have more aura than him in Season 3 Part 1 when he just beats up all of the ninja, but Noct was like a consistent force and a consistent threat throughout Dragon's Rising. Like, from season 2 into season 3, and like, yeah, in season 3 he gets nerfed at the end, but in season 2 part 2 he is awesome, man. Like, when he continues to hurt Tox even after the battle is over, like, that is just, it's just so, it's just so knocked, if you know what I mean. And they establish his character as just this ruthless guy, and that's probably the most character development they've given any of the five, so that's why he's an A tier. He was genuinely an awesome villain for Dragons Rising Season 2 Part 2. Another character who is amazing is Sora. Sora is going straight into S tier because, like Arin, she has a simply incredible story. Like, I just love in season 1, like her whole arc throughout season 1, she's pretty much the opposite of Arin. Arin is super enthusiastic about becoming a ninja. Sora is the exact opposite. She does not want to be a ninja. She groans through training. Like, it's very obvious she does not want to be here. She doesn't even believe she has powers, but slowly she becomes more confident. She sheds the worries that she might not ever live up to her parents. I think that was a really powerful scene at the end of season 1 part 2. That was really powerful. It's great for her character. Her relationship with Arin is further like developed on in season 3 part 1, and again, that's also really sweet. I love seeing how they become friends. It also adds to Arin's character arc as well as Sora. So Sora, they did a fantastic job of writing her as a main character for Dragons Rising. I could not be more happy with her. Her next character, we have, I believe this is like the random blacksmith or mechanic dude from the village that the ninja visit and save from the sea monster. And the one they later revisit in season 3 part 1 where Rox finds the prismatic blade. I think this is the one, but I might be wrong. No, I think I'm right. We just don't know anything about him again. He's a character, he exists, that's it. Same can be said for this guy. It seems like he's just another random dude from the realm of Lee. I think he had some significance, which is why he's on this list, but yeah. He's a named character, but that's basically all that he is. Okay, we have another person who I don't recognize. Though the gray streak in her hair is probably I remember her actually. She's the girl that refereed-ish the Zayn lookalike competition. Yeah, she's we don't know anything about her. That I'll put it at that. We have, oh my god, a bunch of random guys at the end. The freebooters, Rapton's gang again. I mean, we do see them a lot. I'm tempted to put them in D tier with Rapton because they're also like wholly uninteresting villains. They were uninteresting when they were the Claws of Imperium. Actually, no, these guys are the Claws of Imperium, right? The former Claws. So I guess we do see them. So I don't think I can put them in Who tier. Yeah, I'll put them in D tier along with Rapton. They're just completely uninteresting villains. So yeah. Oh, please don't be another Who tier. Who is this person? Is that, oh no, it's the random Hypnobrai that they meet in season 1 part 2 where she just does a bunch of random stuff, and I can't even remember what she does exactly, but she is yeah, moving on. Curious George is a curious case because I feel like we know a lot about him from what other characters have said, but at the same time we don't know him personally, so with a heavy heart I must also put him in Who tier. That's like 6 people we've put in Who tier. 5. Okay, please be a non. Okay, finally. This is Jenny, Arin's mom, and she is going in C tier. I'll put her ahead of her dad. I'll put her ahead of Arin's dad because I think she has a pretty sweet discussion with Nia regarding Nia's feelings about Jay. I think that elevates her a little bit, but again, yeah, she's a decent character. We know quite a bit about her. I'm interested to see what's gonna happen to her in the future. Another named character that we somewhat know is Creel. Creel is also going into D tier. She's not a particularly interesting character. I don't know where to put her. I'll put her behind Gandalaria, but ahead of Labo. Yeah, I think that's a decent spot. Honestly, I don't really care for her much. Then we have this guy, who is... I have no idea who that guy is. He's going in Who tier. Uh, oh. Oh, this is like, oh, this is the family that Arin meets. This is the family that Arin meets, when he's when he, oh, actually, I remember who this guy is. This is the kid that plays with the Lloyd doll. Oh, yeah, right, in, Dragon's Rising Season 3, Part 1. Well, I mean, we still don't know much about him. They're a sweet family from what I can see. They take in Aaron. They give him food and stuff. They're okay in my opinion. They're not amazing. The Lava Tides, okay, these guys don't go in who tier. We've seen them quite a bit. They go in, would I be harsh if I put them in F tier? No, I'm not putting them in F tier. I'll put them in D tier. They're also really annoying. I'll put them closer to the top in D tier. I'll put them here. Yes. They're pretty annoying with Wildfire. They kind of complement Wildfire, but that was the time when Wildfire was really annoying. So they just irritate me personally. I guess that's their point. They're not meant to be super deep characters, but yeah, they just irritate me so much. I'm gonna put them in D tier. Next up, we have Leaf Blade. Leaf Blade, I think, is a solid C tier. Again, we only saw him for one episode, but I feel like I got a good enough grasp of his character that I'll probably put him here. I think he's an okay character. I would like to see what he does in the future, though, because he's kind of like the regent to the matriarch, so he's kind of like the advisor. So I'm interested. I hope we see him again. He's an interesting guy. The king. This is Beatrix and Zeatrix's father. I do I feel comfortable putting him in who tier? I don't really know. We do know quite a bit of information about him. Honestly, just thinking back, he we learned his relationship with Zeatrix and Beatrix, how he definitely preferred Zeatrix, but we only see him in one scene and then he gets killed by Ross, so yeah, that's definitely who tier for sure. Oh my god, the third Lava Tide. Are these guys like all, I mean, not Lava Tide, the third Lightning Tide. Are these guys all named or something? Is that why I have them on my list? I don't know, maybe I just made a mistake. Next up, we have, wait, is that the same person? Oh wait, no, this is another one of the finders. This is similar to Fritz or Spitz. Wait, no, I think this is Fritz and this is Spitz because it's a snake. Haha, Spitz, get it? She's similar to this guy over here. She's similar to Fritz. I think that he doesn't have much character, though we probably could have. And same is true with her. She just kind of hangs around for a bunch of seasons and doesn't do a whole lot. I would like to see her more, especially because she is part of Cole's family. So would like to see more of her. We have a Cloud Kingdom monk. He's going in who tier. I think he has a couple of lines, but other than that, there's just not much. Then we have another Ninjago influencer. This is similar to Spinjitzu for Days 99. I believe this one's called Ninja Fan Infinity. So I'm gonna put her in who tier again. Shows up for like 5 seconds. Then we have Percival, I believe. Yeah, that's Percival. Percival is actually a pretty good character. I love how he just starts off as like a brainwashed puppet of the Empress, and then he slowly, using his realization, he figures out that something is wrong, and then he turns out to help the ninja. I think him as a character, he's actually a pretty interesting character. It's an interesting commentary on a citizen under a fascist government. So in that regard, I guess he's pretty cool. His actual character, his personality, he's not annoying, he's not irritating. I quite like seeing him on screen, so I'll put him ahead of Sora's parents. I think he has a decent role in quite a few seasons, and I liked seeing him grow and develop throughout. Next up, we have Eagle, and Eagle's also going straight into A tier. Eagle I like a bit more than Ron too, because he's really similar to Ericor in a way that he's just lost hope, and he's just this depressed old guy who's dying from wasting sickness, but slowly teaching his students, he learns hope. He realizes that they can do stuff, I guess. Of course, I'm vastly oversimplifying. His death scene is also tragic and really, really just heartbreaking. It's one of the best death scenes in Ninjago. Not that we get many of them, but this one's still very good, trust me. Eagle, like, as a character, I loved seeing his progression, how he slowly gets more and more hopeful, seeing the ninja, how in the end he actually believes that they have a chance to win. And I think that that overall makes for a fantastic character and a great Lego set. Not that matters, but like, fantastic top tier Ninjago Dragon. Top tier character as well. We have another random guy who's going in Who tier. We have Powerlid who's going straight into F tier. All he does is waste time. He's an annoying character who doesn't add anything to anyone's character. I thought they might have been actually onto something when they brought him back in Season 3, Episode 19, but even then he just wastes time and doesn't do anything, doesn't learn anything. He's a boring character that didn't need to exist. Definitely F tier. And then we have the Scroll Worms. These guys are they're not really characters. They're similar to the bots, where I think I just kind of have to put them in Who tier. I don't know why I included them. But yeah, they are something, I guess. And finally, the last character we have on this list is Euphrasia. Euphrasia, I think, is top of B or bottom of A. Bottom of A. I'll put her bottom of A. I think she was actually a really good character. Again, the whole Cloud Kingdom plotline added a lot to Dragon's Rising. She's an interesting character that we see frequently, time and time again. I really would like to see her, like, again, once more, just to see what she's up to. I think the last time we saw her was the Tournament of the Sources. The way she uses wind, the way she changed the Cloud Kingdom, how she had to fight, like, the fact that she didn't want to have the power because she thought she would be, like, bullied or harassed, or that it was a way, it was not the Cloud Kingdom way, the Cloud Monk way rather, to use powers, and then how she slowly realized the value in taking action. I think overall that contributes for a very good arc. Again, she's a good character. I think she was just very well written, and I really like the concept of her. So that concludes my tier list. Here is every single character from Dragon's Rising, every single new character rather from Dragon's Rising ranked. And I think this is actually pretty decent. I don't think there's any major changes I would like to make. Got a lot of characters in C tier, but quite a few characters in S and A tier as well. And of course, Lord Ross. You can't forget Lord Ross. He is, man, he really is something else. The writers were really cooking when they came up with his idea. So yeah, that's gonna do it for this video. Let me know what you think of my ranking down in the comments below. Let me know how you would rank these characters. The tier list is linked in the description below, and I will see you all in the next one.